Nigeria's 2027 elections might not be run by Nigerians. The United Nations is considering direct intervention, not because of war, not because of a coup, but because Nigeria's political elite can't be trusted to conduct a free and fair election on their own. Let that sink in. Africa's largest democracy may need international supervision just to hold a credible vote. A storm is brewing over Nigeria's 2027 general elections, and it centers on 5 words that terrify the political establishment. No e-transmission, no election. Civil society groups, election observers, and international partners are drawing a hard line. If Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission refuses to implement full electronic transmission of election results, the election may not be recognized as legitimate. And now, should whispers from diplomatic circles suggest the United Nations may step in to directly oversee the process? This isn't just about technology. This is about the soul of Nigerian democracy and whether the country's elections will ever truly reflect the will of the people. Electronic transmission of election results sounds technical, but it's actually simple and devastatingly important. Here's how it works. When voting ends at a polling unit, results are counted publicly, recorded on paper forms, and then transmitted electronically in real time to a central database. This creates an immediate, verifiable record that's nearly impossible to manipulate. Without e-transmission, results are recorded on paper, physically transported, sometimes over days, through a chain of officials to collation centers where official results are announced. And at every step of that journey, results can be altered, ballot boxes can be stuffed, figures can be manipulated. Nigeria tried partial e-transmission in 2023. Where it worked, it dramatically reduced rigging. But in crucial areas, the system mysteriously failed or was deliberately undermined. Results from those areas showed statistically impossible patterns. 100% turnout in some places, identical vote counts across multiple polling units, results that defied every exit poll and observer report. The pattern was clear. Where e-transmission worked, elections were cleaner. Where it didn't, rigging flourished. The 2023 presidential election was supposed to be Nigeria's most credible ever. INEC, the Electoral Commission, had promised full electronic transmission. Nigerians believed them. Young voters registered in record numbers. It's convinced that this time technology would protect their votes. Then election day came. The INEC result viewing portal, the system meant to display results in real time, crashed or was sabotaged or was deliberately taken offline. The official explanation kept changing. Results took days to appear. When they finally did, they contradicted what observers saw on the ground. Polling units where the opposition won overwhelmingly somehow showed government party victories in the official count. Areas with documented low turnout reported impossibly high numbers. International observers were diplomatic but clear. The process lacked credibility. The opposition rejected the results. Court cases are still ongoing, and millions of Nigerians, especially young voters who believed technology would save democracy, felt betrayed. Now, as 2027 approaches, even those same voters and civil society groups are saying never again. No e-transmission, no election has become a rallying cry. It means that if INEC refuses to guarantee full, functional electronic transmission of results, Nigerians will not accept the election as legitimate, regardless of who wins. Opposition parties are united on this. Civil society organizations are mobilizing. International election observers are watching closely, and crucially, Nigeria's international partners, the United States, United Kingdom, European Union, are signaling that they too will not recognize an election conducted without credible electronic safeguards. This is where the UN comes in. According to diplomatic sources, the United Nations is exploring options for direct involvement in Nigeria's 2027 elections. This could range from technical support and monitoring to potentially managing the electronic transmission infrastructure entirely, removing it from INEC's control. This would be extraordinary. Nigeria is not a failed state. It's not in a civil war. It's Africa's largest economy, a regional power, a democracy on paper. But the international community has lost faith in Nigeria's ability to conduct its own elections credibly, and they are watching what happens in 2027 closely. Because if Nigeria's democracy collapses into permanent illegitimacy, the ripple effects across West Africa would be catastrophic. So why wouldn't Nigerian politicians want electronic transmission? Why resist a system that makes rigging harder? Because rigging is how many of them win. E-transmission threatens the entire ecosystem of electoral fraud that keeps certain politicians in power despite being deeply unpopular. It threatens the vote-buying operations, the ballot stuffing, the result manipulation at collation centers, the Ghana must-go bags of cash used to bribe election officials. When results are transmitted instantly and publicly, there's no opportunity to adjust numbers during transportation. There's no window to alter figures at collation centers. The first count becomes the final count, and voters can verify their polling unit results online immediately. For politicians who have never won a clean election in their lives, this is terrifying. If the 2027 election is rigged again, if e-transmission is sabotaged again, Nigeria faces a legitimacy crisis that could fracture the country. Young Nigerians are already deeply disillusioned. Youth unemployment is crushing. The economy is struggling. Insecurity is everywhere. The social contract is broken. Elections were supposed to be the peaceful mechanism for change. If that mechanism is permanently corrupted, what's left? Apathy, mass migration, protest, instability. International investors are watching too. No serious economy can thrive without political stability and legitimate governance. If Nigeria's elections remain a chaotic joke, capital will continue fleeing to more stable markets. The solution is simple. INEC must guarantee full, functional, tamper-proof electronic transmission of results for every polling unit in 2027, no exceptions, no technical failures in opposition strongholds, no mysterious server crashes at midnight. Civil society must maintain pressure, while international observers must be present in massive numbers, and Nigeria's partners must make clear that business as usual is not acceptable. If Nigerian institutions cannot deliver this, then yes, UN involvement may be necessary, not as an insult to Nigerian sovereignty, but as recognition that credible elections are too important to leave to a compromised system. No e-transmission, no election isn't just a slogan, it's a line in the sand. Nigeria's democracy is at a crossroads. Either 2027 becomes the election where technology finally protects the people's vote, or it becomes the election that confirms Nigeria's democracy was always a performance, not a reality. Thus, the world is watching. Nigerians are demanding change, and the political class must choose: accept credible elections and risk losing power, or rig again and lose legitimacy entirely. The countdown to 2027 has begun, and this time the stakes couldn't be higher.